Everyone. Today we are going to discuss about very important immunology chapter, that is antigen and antibody. Today lecture outline will be detailed study of antigen and antibody and end up with the top 3 questions. Let us study the overview. Any substance attached to the human body that produce activation of the immune response. So there are three kind of activation known as the defense mechanism. Number one is the first line of defense. As we studied previously, the first line of defense is the skin. We'll try to eliminate those substances from our body. If the first line of defense mechanism is not working, that leads to activation of the second line of defense. That is known as the innate immunity. So innate immunity cells are white blood cells and complement factors. So this will try to eliminate the substance from our body. If the second line of defense is unable to perform the function, then leads to activation of the final mechanism, that is known as the third line of defense, that is otherwise known as the adaptive immunity. So adaptive immunity cells are B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. So the final end result will be formation of immune response. There are two kinds of response. One is B cell or humoral immunity cell immune response, or cell mediated immunity immune response. So any substance which can activate the immune system is known as antigens, and those substances produced against the antigen is known as the antibodies. So now we will study detail about antigen and antibody. First we will study about the antigens. In antigens, we are going to study the definition of antigens, properties of antigen, origin and types of antigen, and end up with the epitope and its property. So now we will study one by one. So we will study the definition. Before going to the definitions, we will study the word meaning. The Oxford English Dictionary describe about the beautiful definition about antigen, that is substance which produce antibody formation. So the word taken from this is the substance, and anti and gen. So the antigen derived from antibody generations. So we'll study the definition as per the standard book. It defined as any substance which when introduced paraenterally into the body stimulate the production of an antibody with which it reacts specifically and in an observable manner. So we'll study how it acting. So first we'll study any substance which introduced paraenterally. So we'll study what is that paraenteral. So paraenterally means other than the gastrointestinal tract. So suppose that any antigens enter to the gastrointestinal tract, so what happen? So the simple thing, administration of antigens through the ingestions usually denaturated, hence loss of antigenicity leads to no antibody formation. So any substance or any antigens enter into the paraenterally, that leads to antibody formation will be the late. So that is the reason the word is given paraenterally. So the antigens can be protein, can be polysaccharide, can be nucleic acid, can be the lipids. So any antigens will attack to the human body, our body will recognize in the 4 level: protein, polysaccharides, nucleic acids and lipids. And protein and polysaccharides are more immunogenic than nucleic acids and lipids. So in simple understanding, antigen means any substance that react with T or B lymphocytes or adaptive immune cell, it is known as the antigen. It's a simple understanding. Let will go. This is assume that this is the antigens and this is the antibody. So if the antigen means should react, it helps to production of antibody and should react with that antibody. That is the definition of antigens. So antigen should react with the antibody. That is a simple understanding. So let me study the properties of antigens. There are two type of properties. First property is known as the immunogenicity. So what is immunogenicity? It is simple, nothing but induce the immune response. So any antigens can able to induce the immune response. It is known as the immunogenicity. So like the antigens produce the attack to the B cell produce the humoral immunity, that is the antibody mediated immunity, and T cells produce cell mediated immune response. That is the one properties of antigen. Another property, it is known as the immunological reactivity. So what is meant by immunological reactivity? Specific react with antibody or T cell surface receptor. So immunological reactivity means it should react with those antibody. It is known as immunological reactivity. So simple understanding, immunogenicity means it can able to introduce the immune response, and immunological reactivity means should react with those immune response. So that is known as the two properties of the antibodies. Now we'll study the origin of antigens. There are three types of origins. Number one is the exogenous, endogenous, and autoantigens. First we'll study about the exogenous antigens. Exogenous antigen means outside antigen entry through the inhalation and injection. So anything comes from the outside, it is known as the exogenous antigen. Endogenous antigen. Antigen comes from the inside through the normal metabolic product. Example is free radical or viral and intracellular bacteria comes under the category of the endogenous antigens. Autoantigens. So autoantigen means normal body cells are recognized by the immune system of host as non-self antigen instead of self antigen. Normally all the cells have antigen that our body immune system recognizes as the self antigen, so our immune system will not against those self antigen. But what happen in autoantigen, our immune system recognize the self antigen as the non-self antigen, so that will produce the immune response. That is known as the autoantigens. We'll study the type of antigens. There are totally 7 type of antigens. We'll study one by one. First we'll study about the complete antigen. So complete antigen means capable of induce immunogenicity and immunological reactivity in observable manner. So simple understanding, as we discussed, capable of introducing immunogenicity. Immunogenicity means capable of producing immune response, and immunological reactivity. Immunological reactivity means can able to react with those immunological response. It is known as the immunological reactivity. So complete antigen means it have the characteristic of immunogenicity as well as into the immunological reactivity. That is known as the complete antigen. What is haptons? Another variety. Hapton means incapable of induce the immunogenicity but having the immunological reactivity. So here the properties, two properties of antigens will be immunogenicity and immunological reactivity. Complete antigen means it have two property, but hapton means it is having only one property, that is incapable of introducing immunogenicity but having react with the immunological reactivity. That means the simple thing, haptons unable to introduce the antibody but it react with the antibody. So that is a simple of haptons. So hapton otherwise known as the incomplete antigens. There are another variety, it is known as the immunogens. So immunogen is nothing but it is a type of complete antigens, substance which provokes the immune response. Another one is a tolerogen, substance unable to introduce the immune response due to its molecular size. So that we'll study later. Then allergen, substance capable of causing allergic reaction, it is known as a allergen. Isoantigen, substance present in only some individual of the particular species capable of eliciting immune response to the other member of the same species. Example is blood group, is the typical examples of isoantigens. Heterophilic antigen, common antigens found in the cells of different species. Example is Postman antigen present in the human, animals, birds and some of the bacteria. And genogenic antigen, the antigen present in the member of one species were absent in the other species. So that's about the type of the antigens. Now we'll study about very important chapter of immunology, that is epitope and paratope. We'll study what is epitope and paratope. Epitope means it is a small site on the antigens, small site on the antigen which is recognized by antibody. It is also known as the antigenic determinant. What is paratope? The antibody that combine with the corresponding epitope of an antigen is called paratope. Let me explain with a diagrammatic representation. So assume that this is the antibody and this is this is antibody and this is antigen. So what is epitope or it is paratope? So this part where there is antigenic part attached to the antibody part. So this antigen part is known as the epitope, and where this antibody attached to the antigen, so the part of the antibody part, it is known as the paratope. So epitope is the part of the antigen and paratope is the part of the antibody. Both will combine each other and produce the antigen antibody reactions. Properties of epitopes. It is immunologically active regimens of immunogens. It has 4 to 5 amino residues or monosaccharide residues. It attached to the particular site of antigen or antibody or immunoglobulin. T cells and B cell recognize different epitope on the same antigen substance through the linear and conformational type of epitope. So we'll study what is meant by linear epitope and conformational epitope. So type of epitope, as we studied, linear and conformational. So linear means one sequence of amino acids of antigens are bind with the paratope. It is known as a linear. Conformational means multiple sequence of amino acids of antigens bind with the paratope. Okay, let me explain with the diagrammatic representation. This is the antigen and this is antibody, as we know. So what is linear epitope means? There is only one portion of the antigen will attach to the one portion of the antibody. That is this is known as the linear epitope. What is conformational epitope means? There are multiple sequence of, there are more than one part of the antibody or antigens combined with the one or two parts of the antibody. It is known as the conformational. Simple, this is the only one attachment, this is multiple attachment. So multiple attachment is known as a conformational epitope. Mostly B lymphocytes will go for conformational epitope and T lymphocytes will go for the linear epitope. We'll study some of the properties of antigens. Usually foreignness, usually our body, the immune system will not react against the self antigens, but it will react, increased immune response will be on non-self antigens, will be, immune system will be increased, immune response will be increased. And molecular size, the molecular size is more than 10,000 Dalton, there will be production of increased immune response. Where there is a less than 2,500 Dalton, that leads to decreased immune response. Chemical nature of the antigens. Protein and polysaccharides are more immunogenic than nucleic acids and lipids. In other sense, proteins and polysaccharides produce increased immune response than the nucleic acids and lipids. Physical form. Non-soluble substance or particulate substance produce increased immune response, where there is a soluble substance produce decreased immune response. Age group, adult age group having increased immune response against the disease, where there is a extreme age, children and old age people having decreased immune response. Dose, intermediate dose will produce increased immune response, where there is extreme dose, that means very low and very high produce the decreased immune response. The route of administration, the subcutaneous route will be produce more or increased immune response than the intravenous and intragastric route. Degradability, that means easily phagocytosed antigens are more immunogenic. Why? Because the phagocytic cells by the macrophages, usually macrophages will be go for phagocytosis. So easily the antigens, phagocyte antigen divided into the different fragments. The different fragments will be carried by the antigen presenting cells to the helper cells, leads to activation of the cell mediated immune response. So easily phagocytosed antigens having increased immune response. So that's about the end of the properties of the antigens. So last we are going to study about the super antigen. What is meant by super antigen? Normally a class of antigens that causes polygonal T cell activation and massive cytokinin release. Normally, normal antigen introduced activation of monoclonal T cell fraction. Okay, the monoclonal means that the single cell will be activated. So monoclonal T cell fraction or the percentage wise 0.001 percentage to 0.0001 percentage of the T cells will be activated normally normal. But in case of super antigens means the T cells will be super antigen introduced activation of the polygonal T cells, where there is normal it is the monoclonal, here it is a polygonal, and the activation of the T cells will be more than 25 percentage. So that is reason we are calling as the super antigens. So super antigens are the antigens having two characteristic, activation of the polygonal T cells as well as 25%, more than 25% of the T cells will be activated. So that's the end of the antigens. So we'll study the summary, antigen summary. So here what we learned, any substance that react with the T or B cells or adaptive immune cells is known as the antigens. Immunogenicity and immunological reactivity are the two properties of antigens. The complete antigen fulfill the above two properties, whereas the haptens fulfill the only immunological reactivities. Epitope are the small site on the antigens which recognized by the antibody. So that's about the antigens. Now we'll go for the antibody. In antibody, we are discussing about the definition of antibody, basic unit of antibody, and antibody fragmentation, and end up with the type of immunoglobulin. So we'll study one by one. So before that, we'll go little bit introduction about antibody. Antibodies are gamma globulin or type of the serum protein. Serum protein divided into the alpha globulin, beta globulin and gamma globulin. So the immunoglobulin is nothing but it is a gamma globulin that are synthesized to the serum, tissue and body fluid by plasma cell. Plasma cell is a variety of the B lymphocyte. Hence it is otherwise known as the immunoglobulin, because it is a nothing but it is a gamma globulin. So we are calling normally it is the immunoglobulin. So another name of antibody is the immunoglobulin. It constitutes 25 to 30% of the total serum protein. WHO coined the term immunoglobulin first in 1964. So we'll study the definitions as per the standard book. It defined as when any substance or antigen introduced into the body, the substance which is produced against it to act specifically to that antigen in an observable manner. So we'll get in simple word, there are two concepts. We told that antibody and immunoglobulin. So when to call antibody, when to call immunoglobulin. When structural and chemical concept, we used to call immunoglobulin. When the same immunoglobulin will act as a biological and functional concept, it is known as the antibody. The same substance, as per the reaction or as per the function, we are calling as the immunoglobulin or antibody. So in simple term, all antibodies are immunoglobulin, but all immunoglobulins are not antibodies. Let us study about the basic unit of the immunoglobulin. The immunoglobulin shape is inverted Y shape. This is the inverted Y shape. Immunoglobulin are the glycoproteins being composed of 80 to 96% of polypeptide, 4 to 18% of carbohydrate, and the polypeptide portion possesses all the biological properties of the antigen. So this polypeptide portions is helping for the biological properties of the immunoglobulin. So we'll study how it is. So the immunoglobulin composed of the 4 polypeptide chain. So that is 2 L chain and 2 H chain, or you can know 1 pair of L chain and 1 pair of H chain. You can see here, this is the H antigen and this is the L antigen. Both L antigen and H antigen producing the immunoglobulin. Okay. L antigens molecule have 214 amino sequence as well as molecular weight is 25,000, whereas H antigens having 450 to 700 amino acid sequence and molecular weight is 50,000. So this 4 polypeptide chain is one of the basic unit of the immunoglobulin. Let us study it in detail. As we know, there are 2 heavy chain and 2 light chain are bound to each other by disulfide bond. So this portion is known as the disulfide bond. The H chain divided into the 5 class and L chain divided into the 2 classes, namely kappa, that is 60% and lambda, it is 40%, and H chain is mostly antigenically distinct, where there is L chain is antigenically not distinct. What is meant by antigenically distinct? Antigenically distinct means this H portion only will react with the antigen. We'll study in detail. The immunoglobulin type based on the heavy chain. So this is a very important things to remember. The immunoglobulin type based on the heavy chain, namely immunoglobulin A made up of alpha heavy chain, immunoglobulin D having delta, immunoglobulin E epsilon, immunoglobulin G having gamma, and immunoglobulin M have mu heavy chain. So this is the immunoglobulin A, immunoglobulin D, immunoglobulin E, immunoglobulin M and immunoglobulin G. So the 5 group of biological group of immunoglobulin is divided based on the heavy chain. So that is important thing to remember. We'll study all chain have 2 ends. One end is known as the aminotransferase, other end is known as the carboxy terminus. So this is known as the carboxy terminus end and this is known as the amino terminus end. So what is the important this 2 ends? We'll study. Each H chain and L chain comprise of 2 region. One is known as the constant region or commonly known as the C. Another one is the variable region commonly known as the V. So constant regions present in the carboxy terminal end and variable region present into the amino terminus end. So this is a constant region where there is a carboxy terminal end, the constant region is present. Where there is a variable region present into the aminotransferase end. The part of the variable region or act as the antigen binding site of antibody or paratope. So variable regions is a very important. We'll study. The heavy chain have 4 subdivided into 4 level, 1 variable region and 3 constant region, whereas light chain have 1 variable region and 1 constant regions. I will explain through the diagrammatic representation. So this is known as a H chain and this is known as a L chain. So H chain having 1 VH means variable H chain. So only 1 variable H chain followed by 3 constant region CH1, CH2 and CH3. L chain have VL 1 variable region and 1 constant region. So this region, so important things to here, it is the variable regions of H chain and variable region of the light chain. This helping for the this region paratope is present in these 2 regions only. Okay, we'll study a little more detail. We have studied about the paratope will be present into the variable region of H chain and variable region of L chain. Okay, if you want to tell where it is particularly, this variable region, the VH or VL, again divided it for into two division. One is hypervariable region and framework region. So hypervariable region, otherwise known as the antigen binding site, okay, or otherwise known as the hotspot. So the L chain have 3 hotspot and H chain have 4 spots hotspot. So how it is? I will explain to the diagrammatic representations. So this is the 4 hotspot which is present into the H chain, and where there is 3 hotspot which is present into the L chain. So this is this hotspot known as the antigen binding site, where there is antigen binding to this hotspot only. So the variable region again divided into hypervariable region and framework, and hypervariable region having the 4 hotspot in case of H chain and 3 hotspot in case of L chain. So this importance of this hotspot is where antigen will bind to antibody in hotspot only. The another basic structure is the Hing region. The junction between CH1 and CH2 is known as the Hing region, which is rich in proline and cysteine, which help for flexible and help for attachment of the antigen into the different positions. So this is the part known as the Hing region. So the Hing regions have bonded with a disulfide bond. So this will be helping for flexibility of the immunoglobulin with the help of proline and cysteine. So that's the basic unit of the immunoglobulin. Now we'll go for antibody fragments and its details. So antibody fragments, the antibody fragments into the 2 varieties, namely fragment antigen binding, by short we will call as FAB, fragment crystalline, by short we will call it as the FC. So this is the, if one immunoglobulin having 2 FAB region and 1 FC region. So this is the, each immunoglobulin can fragment into the 3 level, 1 FC fragment and 2 FAB fragment. So what is the importance of these antibody fragments? Why antibodies are fragmented? Simple thing, antibody fragments are smaller than the normal antibody, which helps to penetrate the tissue better than antibody. The second importance is FAB region used for antigen binding studies. As we know, the FAB region only having the variable region, so we can able to study the antigen antibody binding studies, and FC regions are used for identification of the cell surface receptor and of the human. So you can able to study separately with the help of FAB and FC. And FAB fragments also help to identify the exact location of the target antigens. As we studied, it have the H chain have 4 hotspot and L chain have 3 hotspot. So with the help of with the study of only the FAB fragments, we can able to understand the exact location of the target antigens. Antibody fragment also help for 3-dimensional structure of antibody can be studied by using antibody fragments. Because of this point, the antibody fragment is helps. Okay. Now we'll study how the antibody fragments are happening. Normally, immunoglobulin is resistant to digestion by enzyme, except 2 enzymes, namely papain and pepsin, which cleavage the immunoglobulin. So, papain cleavage the immunoglobulin into the 2 FAB fragments and 1 FC fragments. Pepsin cleavage the immunoglobulin into FAB square fragments. So this is the way the antibody gets fragmented and helpful for the various type of studies. So now we will go for the properties of antibodies. So as we know, 5 type of antibody we have studied based on the H chain, heavy chain. So now we will study all the characteristic of the 5 antibodies or immunoglobulin. So molecular weight, things to remember here, more molecular weight is IgM and IgA having 1,60,000 and IgD have 1,80,000 and IgG have 1,50,000, whereas IgM have 9 lakh. Serum concentration is more in IgG followed by IgA milligram per ml. Daily production, again daily production IgG is more followed by IgA. Intravascular distribution, IgE is 80% followed by the IgD. Placental transport, having IgG can able to cross the placenta, and in the milk IgA as well as IgG is present in the milk. Present all secretory glands present IgA, and intravascular circulation is IgG, extravascular circulation, that is IgE, where there is intravascular as well as present into the extravascular is IgG. IgM is present only into the intravascular. So that is the characteristic of 5 immunoglobulin types. So that's the end of the antibody. Now we'll study the summary of the antibody. Here what we learned, antibody also known as the immunoglobulin. The shape of immunoglobulins are inverted Y shape. There are 5 classes of immunoglobulin based on the heavy chain. Paratope are the small site on the antibody which recognized by the antigens. There are 5 types of immunoglobulin. IgA found in most of the secretion which product body surface. IgD act as the B cell receptor and activate the mast cell. IgE product against the parasitic and allergic reaction which is responsible for type 1 hypersensitivity. IgG product the body fluids and able to cross the placenta as well as present into the milk, and IgM product the body serum. So that's the important characteristic part of the antibody. So now take the home message. It's very simple. We have discussed about antigen and antibody. By summary, antigen means immunogens or otherwise known as a complete antigens. So antigen we are calling as a immunogens, and antibody we are calling as a immunoglobulin. And substance can introduce the immune response, it is known as the antigens. Substance can produce immune response, it is known as the antibody. The antigens are protein, polysaccharide, nucleic acids and lipids, whereas antibody having only protein in nature, that also gamma globulin variety of the protein. The last but not the least, epitope is the part of the antigens, where there is a paratope is the part of the antibody. So that is the end of the summary of antigen and antibody. So now time to discuss about the top 3 questions. So here I am asking the 3 questions which can help to for your brain to get an answer. So it is a very important one for the immunology. The first question is, immune system starts functioning at what age group? Second question, which is the first immunoglobulin forms into the human body? Third question, which part of the coronavirus are antigenic in character? Please find the answer and put it into the comment section, comment box in the YouTube. So later I will put the correct answer in the comment box. So thank you. So thank you one and all. So next class will go for antigen antibody reaction. Thank you.